Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table tonight. Or not tonight. Actually, this is the very first time. It's still in the afternoon. Our very first guest, our very first interview during daylight. And so our guest is from Tāmaki Makaurau, but he also was born in Dunedin, but raised up in Tāmaki Makaurau. In fact, South Okilani. The man was raised up in a place called 274 Flatbush, also known as the home of the brave. And so you know what it is. It's Otara all day, every day. And so this man is an amazing individual. He's a digital creator, content creator. He's one of the guys who interviews a lot of our fighters, our pro fighters. He's rubbed shoulders with some amazing men in terms of the fight game. And he is also an incredible man who's a family man, but has an incredible story to share. Please put your hands together for the man all the way in over the dish in Sydney, Australia, but he's here for a few days. Yes, it is Loz, a.k.a. Kukikilla!
I feel like I'm walking out to a fight. What an introduction. Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. So privileged.
Absolute privilege, brother. And I just found out, Loz, man, Otara boy, Flatbush.
274, brother.
274, man, 274, that's us, man.
That's us.
Maybe that's the connection number.
I think so. We speak that same lingo.
Yeah, that same lingo, bro. And so, absolute pleasure. And obviously, Loz, just for those who like think, oh, who's Kukikilla? And maybe a lot of those who know you, they've seen you on your digital content creation or creator. But tell us why did you end up kind of interviewing the fighters, pro fighters, amateur fighters? Why that?
Good question. Sometimes I ask myself that. No, I was thinking about this before I came on. I have to shout out my brother Farfield. He was actually one of my boxing coaches at Boxing Alley. He's got a gym down in the Mount, Byron Boxing. And when I moved to Australia, it was like not long after COVID, me and him would always talk about fighting all the time. And then me and him randomly were like, man, we should just like make a page and we just talk about fighting that's coming up. Maybe talk about who we're going to chuck some money on, like funny chats, right? So that's how it started. It was called Coconut Tips Podcast. It was just me and him. We go IG live, talk about boxing. And then very quickly, just from doing it on Instagram, people just wanted to have a chat with us, like fighters or people who knew Phil, or just people who had seen us before. So we were like, yeah, say less. Let's have a chat. So we just go on IG Live, have a talk. Didn't know what we were doing. Like some of those conversations, if you go back, probably still on my page, we're basically like, and then that just sort of built into me pivoting and rebranding it to more just about me making content, which is now branded as Kukikilla, and the origin of that name. My mum's Ngāpui Māori and my dad's Aitutaki Cook Islander. And when I was doing boxing, someone started calling me Kukikilla as a bit of a joke because I was actually pretty rubbish. But it was more of a laugh. And then it sort of stuck. Everyone would nickname and call me that and use it as tags. So I pivoted and made it a bit more freer and just made it about me having conversations about fighting or talking about fighting. And then that's pretty much where it came from. My love of fighting's come from just being a fan when I was younger, and probably from we were sharing before, like I've got a pretty heavy nerdy side to me, and I've always been that way. And being raised in South Auckland, smaller Pacific Islander in the hood, used to get bullied like crazy, right? So I didn't play sports or do anything. And then once I found boxing in my late 20s, I think it sort of built me a bit of confidence as a man, and I started to appreciate that fighting really brings that out of you as a person. It's a challenge. You're nervous, and there's all these doubts that you have. So when you overcome those, you learn so much about yourself. So then I got really inquisitive, and I thought, the higher level you go as a fighter, there must be so many lessons, right, that I can learn off these people, and that's what I love talking about. Yeah,
bro, man. You mentioned confidence, Loz, and I like that because sometimes it's not until you kind of find something that you're really good at, or you find something like, it kind of builds your self-esteem, or just gets you kind of the blood flowing, and you feel like, I'm really good at this, or I enjoy this. And so I can't even imagine, Loz, you said you were being bullied back in the days.
I actually laugh about it now because it was actually so bad.
Well, tell me, because how bad was it? Because I think it'd be cool to share some of that.
For sure. So we were sharing before. So born and raised in Flatbush, which back then, like in the late 80s, early 90s, was pretty rough. Like there's nothing out there. And then was in South Auckland my whole life. But when I got to Manero High School, it was pretty much where the bullying got real bad. And a lot of that was because I'm similar to I am then. You know, I'm laugh, I'm loud, probably tease a little bit. But I was very academically smart, very academically smart. I think I was in like second top class, all that good stuff. But then they would put me in a bit of conflict with, I guess, some of our people would find that as an easy target. And because I am a smaller Pacific Islander and I'm not as good at athletics, easy to bully. So through my high school, probably all the way up till I was 16, there was just a lot of either during school or after school, like, physical bullying, pushing, or, people giving you a quick hiding, or a lot of mocking. And then to get past that, you just try to turn it into a joke. But I think, and this probably happens now day and age, you don't actually face up to the embarrassment of it and what that's done to you as a young man. So I think I suppressed that for a long time. And with that, my confidence was probably suppressed for a long time as well, I think.
Man, I get that, man, because it is sometimes as kids, even as teenagers, laws, we can be cruel, man. There's some nasty things out there that have happened to some of us, or a lot of us out there, and how depending on how we respond to it, how we deal with it, can either make or break us sometimes. And so you say you're a nerd. You're like, man. And so because people, for those who probably don't know who you are, laws, they're thinking, hey, Kukikilla, he's a fighter. He's the confident, because you are. You seem very confident. I've seen your interviews, and you have a good yarn. You laugh with them, and I know this is different because you're on the other side now. We're interviewing you or having a talanoa or korero with you. But tell us, how did you kind of like, obviously, was it boxing that kind of was your saving grace, or was it like something like you had to do like to overcome this or to kind of squash this thing you could be holding into?
I did a bit of like hip hop dancing and stuff, as everyone did in South Auckland, like during that phase before I got into boxing. But I think even then I was still just finding my confidence, right? And then I do think my late 20s when I started trying boxing, because even I think the longer you wait for things, before you take on a new task, the bigger the nerves get. So one day I first stepped into Boxing Alley in Auckland, and if you don't know, but Boxing Alley's been around forever, right? Monty Beetham's old hood, Daniela Smith's old hood, Shane Cameron used to run around there too. Very intimidating. There's females in there who could probably give you a hiding. So I think once I just stepped into that, had my first fight, then I realized, okay, there's a lot more in me I need to come up front and build that confidence in. I think that was definitely a starting point. And then once that built and I got into my 30s, it was doing hard things, doing things that made me uncomfortable. The more I did that, I found my confidence just kept growing. Still does now if I make myself uncomfortable.
That's awesome, bro. Because I think a lot of people, a lot of men, because obviously we talk about men on mandate, a lot of us kind of like, sorry. A lot of us kind of think, okay, well, how do I kind of bust through those times, or mental barriers in terms of like I've been bullied or going through some hardships or struggles, and I don't know how to do this, and even to the point of like just burn out. People just burn out, and look at some of the young individuals, young men who kind of burn out and just go through depression and all that kind of stuff. And I love what you say. You found something, but you didn't just like, okay, the box stops here. I'm just going to move on. I'm going to make myself uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, or comfortable with the uncomfortable. And so, bro, what do you say to those guys who are in this stage where probably where you once were? Like, how do you get out of that? How do you get out of that mentality? How do you get out of that mindset? Or how do you get out of that environment in your head?
I think by accident, taking on the boxing by myself was quite a good front step for my confidence, or at least confronting my lack of confidence. Because I think a lot of people go into challenges with groups, right? Which is awesome. I wouldn't say not to do that. But I do think there's an advantage confronting something very uncomfortable by yourself. no matter how scary that is. And that doesn't have to be boxing, but it might be speaking in public, or taking the lead at work, or even in a relationship, you know, like taking the lead in something that you're not good at, which I know us as men is hard to do. I still struggle. My wife's going to watch that, blah, you haven't done that. But I think there's a big benefit to finding some solitude in challenging yourself, because then if you do fail in that, which you will, it's just you who has to hold you up or let you fall. So it's more like accountability. At the boxing, I'm like in a gym. I didn't go with any friends. I still remember my first sparring where like we did so bad. The drive home is me, right? I'm talking to myself like, oh, unlucky us. Maybe I should try tennis. So I think there's that advantage, right? Like I would say that men out there, or people, definitely find something challenging. Groups are amazing. But if you can persevere with taking on those challenges by yourself consistently, you'll build a lot more confidence that way.
Bro, man, bro, you already just throwing nuggets already, Loz, man. I like it. Like just
you won't find that on my page, by the way, because it's just nonsense. This is the actual comments. But I had to think about that too, because I was saying it too. I'm such a fan of like Mandate from the early days, and then the space you guys hold for conversations, that I wanted to make sure I haven't reflected right on myself. So when the bro sent the DM, I was like, this is a chance to reflect and give good conversation about things. Yeah,
I love it. I love what you said, solitude, because it really is just us versus ourselves. There, we're just, especially in the mindset, like you were saying. You mentioned, man, after the sparring, you're driving home, like, oh, and all these thoughts, like, man, bro, should I go back? Should I just quit and all that? And we speak to ourselves, and it really is just our mindset. And so going back to mindset, because you said you're a nerd.
Oh man!
And so, bro, tell us. How does it? Yeah, and yeah, you still are. But bro, tell us, because you seem like you're a very smart man, or smart cookie.
Yeah,
cookie.
Hey, you just made me a new tagline. Smart cookie. Nah, so I'll give you a bit of background, because my wife knows it, and people often are like, whatever he's talking, and she justifies. So when I was at school, I was not good at sports. You know, like all my Polynesian mates. 6 foot with mustaches at intermediate, you know. So, but I was rubbish at everything. My dad's a massive cricket player, loves soccer, rubbish at all of those. Unfortunately, sorry, Dad. So for some reason, academically was easier for me, you know. And I think it was because, again, I'm by myself, you know. Like I don't need a team to be good at equations or learning English or writing. Yeah, so I'm like, cool, it's just on me. I can learn this. My sister was smart too, so I think that was easy for me. Did really well at intermediate. Was head boy at Papatoa Intermediate. I got a certificate for like stopping the most fights because I was the only brown, you know, prefect. People would stop fighting if I came over, you know. Whereas if it was like old Jimmy, sorry, Jimmy's his actual name, but no one's stopping fights for Jimmy. You know, they're just punching over him. So it did really well at intermediate. Went to like advanced classes. And then still did good all the way up to school cert. Mine was the last year of school certificate. And then even got extra classes. And I actually remember there was a pivotal moment where I was getting bullied. And I was thinking, I'm getting bullied because I'm smarter than all of these other people. Which is not true, right? Like it was in my head. And then a teacher, I remember her name too, Miss Roxburgh at Manito High School, maths teacher. She said something to me that embarrassed me in front of everyone. She was like, I was only 2 Polynesians in the 2 top classes, me one of them. And I was having a rough day, and she said, oh, if you're too dumb, you know, don't answer or be quiet. And I was quite, looking back, I was quite advanced thinking, like maturity-wise, right? So when she said that, I was like, oh, she's not allowed to say that to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you can't say that. And she was like, you can't tell me what to do. Then I said, well, I don't want to be in this class. And she was like, well, don't come back to my class. And in my head, I was like, say less. So I wagged for like 12 weeks, just her class. Every time her class came, I'd leave the school. Just leave money up, just walk out. Like, just walk out, come back to school, do my other classes. And I never did that. So when that happened, that's when I think the nerdy part or the proud to be smart part of me was pretty much dead after that. Like I academically stopped trying. It was a weird moment, yeah. And I think that not that it's all the teacher's fault, but I think it does make me think there's so much power in the teacher's conversation with a vulnerable teenager, right? I probably didn't handle it right as a teenager, but I still passed maths. I wagged the whole term. This was petty. I came back the next.
What the heck?
I came back the next year. Went to sixth form. I remember the first day. She walks over. She's like, "Oh, you still taking maths?" I was like, "Yeah, I passed your class." I got 65%. I just skipped that whole term.
What the heck? Bro, see, it's
So
there's kids like you. I hate those kind of kids, man. Those kids are just they turn up to class and they still pass. Like, what the heck?
I know it was bad, but so my I guess nerdy background's always been there, and it still stays with me. And I'm not sure if that's just a like mum and dad thing, or maybe they've just raised us so well that I've always been pretty smart.
Bro, naturally smart, man. Bro.
Gets me in trouble though sometimes, you know, like because I'm a smaller Polynesian. If I can't win, like with my bro. They're mocking.
No, the gift of the gab comes out.
The gab comes out, and it comes out rough.
Oh my gosh, bro. But hey, that is sad. It's sad. We know
sad.
It's sad because we're thinking of kids do it to each other. We mock each other, all that kind of stuff. We're mean to each other. And then you have this adult who's supposed to be teaching you guys, or a teacher, and then say that don't answer if you're dumb.
Yeah, and I knew I wasn't. So I knew.
Was she directing that to you?
Just to me. Yeah, in front of the whole class. Yeah.
Because I know Matarua High School. It was predominantly white, eh? Was it still white?
It was pretty white, yeah. Even though Decile 1, there was only small contingents of, well, what would happen is third, fourth form, there'd be a lot of us, right? And when I say us, like mixed races, not just Polynesians, all races, but that would filter out so fast. By the time I got to sixth form, our form had shrunk by about 400 kids, right? Because they just drop out. They just drop out. So by the time you get to fifth, sixth form, it's usually like Palangis, your Indian mates, a couple of Asian mates, and then us last remaining.
Bro, and I can't, bro.
Yeah, it was
so
rough.
you didn't turn up to a class, you said 12 weeks, and you still still passed.
I got obviously in so much trouble. Like, obviously, if you're watching this, I got on Daily Report. My dad was fussing me and all that. And my parents were so shocked because I had never misbehaved. I was not like, I never drunk, never did drugs, never smoked, never did any of that. But then I just started wagging, so my parents were like, "What's going on here?"
Jeez. Well, what does it tell you about yourself in terms of that? Because
I tell you one thing I know about myself from being young and now, peer pressure doesn't impact me. I don't know why that is, but I'm so grateful for that because that's so prevalent in South Auckland. Peer pressure to do bad things. That's like half of the struggle out here. There's nothing else for young people to do. Like even now when I'm back, my nieces and nephews, I'm like, "Ooh, how was your day?" "Yeah, good." If they're not playing sports, what are they doing?
Bro,
nothing.
They're on their devices. And
or mischief.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
If you're bored,
it's free. It's free to do mischief.
The excess energy is used for something that's quite negative.
Exactly.
But bro, like what it tells me about you, Loz. It tells me you're smart. You are a smart cookie, bro. Because what's the initial reaction of, for us as poly or Māori? If the teacher said, "Oh, you're dumb," what's the initial
true
chair? Pick up the chair.
Get mad. You're right.
But you girls, you can't say that. We're something you're very smart. But it also tells you, bro, like you said, but not peer pressure. You're not taking easily in terms of peer pressure. It tells me that in terms of your social injustice, you stood up to as young as you are. You stood up and said, "No, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking this crap."
Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty. Which is funny because my wife is even more so than me. So if there's any injustice around me or my wife, it's like Avengers, Justice League 3.0.
Bro, what's your wife? Is she?
She's got a bit of Tainui in her. She's Kiwi, and she's got a lot of Irish in her. But she's born and raised in Hamilton, in Fairfield as well. Also a rough area if you know Fairfield. Jeez. So she looks like this really innocent, Palangi, but she's Māori blood, Irish blood, justice, like. If someone's rude to anyone, she's
Well, did you have it? You get the fighting Irish blood in there.
Oh yeah, I know. We had a son. He's 6 months, and I was thinking this guy's gonna be in trouble, man. He's gonna. Irish, cookie, Māori. Oh my gosh,
bro, man. But what's it like being back now? What's it like being back? And obviously back in the hood.
Yep.
Back in Tāmaki Makaurau. And so, and like you said something that a lot of people who go overseas and live overseas, and they come back. And you said it. They come here. Some of our kids are doing nothing, but also it's just the same. Is it the same for you? Like you come back, like everyone's doing the same thing.
It feels that way, eh?
Yeah.
There's pockets of advancement, but I think that's specialists like yourselves, what you guys are doing, seeing brands like you know blowing up. There's like pockets of things that are changing, but the general vibe is the same for what I see, which is, my parents have never left South Auckland. They've always been here. And the part that gets me is when I come back and it's the same and they're still here.
Yeah.
That's man. That's every time I come back, my cup of motivation to like help, improve their life or give them the option to leave South Auckland just doubles. It feels the same. It feels I'm not really a political person, but my wife is, and just seeing how the government pushes to see the rich get richer, and there's no care for like South Auckland, or that's the part that really gets me coming back.
Yeah, it is.
Rough to see.
I hear it all the time, Laws. People go overseas and they come back and man, you guys, everyone's still the same, doing the same thing. And maybe because they've been gone for some time now. Obviously, you've been living in Australia for some time now. What's the biggest learning? What's the biggest difference? Obviously, we're just a few. We're not too far from each other, but what's been the biggest learning from you staying over the ditch now?
We were sharing this before, having a little korero, but I was saying, before I went to Australia, I never thought I'd live there. But when I guess I'll tell a bit of the journey too. I went in 2018 and I went to the Sunshine Coast. If you don't know the Sunshine Coast, it's like the whitest place in Queensland. It's basically a retirement place. It's not the Gold Coast. It's a complete opposite. It's not Partyville. It's like the Mount of Australia, or Queensland. So I go from South Auckland boy, never left South Auckland, to this affluent white area. Probably 5 islanders there. Like it's like spot the brown person. But the lessons I learned very quick was that Australians have one thing that's I think helps them be successful, and it's the no shame thing, whatever that is. I don't even know if it's confidence, but it's just the ability to try and be good, or try 200% at something with no shame about failing. I'm not saying not all of them aren't shameful when they do fail, but a large majority of them will have a really good crack at something without a group, like I mentioned, right? They'll take it on their own shoulders and be like, nah, I'm going to open a bakery, and just go, cool, what do I need to do? Cool, I'll get out a loan, or put it on, tick up my car, or sell my dogs, or whatever they need to do. They're all in for what they want to achieve. And I think us as Kiwis, especially me growing up, I always used to look at Australians and be like, these guys are cocky, these guys just think they're the best at everything. But when you go into their country, everything about their country is celebrated. Their news, Australia, we're the best. We won a gold medal for best butter sculpture in Perth. And that's anything that's a win in Australia. We got the best poodle haircut at poodlehaircut.com championships in Sweden. Anything, Australia will celebrate it all day, every day. Yeah, they do. And I think it has some sort of positive psyche on their people, because they all have this confidence and belief that they're amazing. That's what it's very deep.
But I tell you what, Loz, for me personally, I like that. I like that, because you look at the Americans, some people look at them when they hear them, you can hear them from across the room. There's Americans, and sometimes there's Yankees, and we say, but they're very patriotic, they're confident, and they speak their mind. And it seems like the same thing in Australia. People are like, they just speak, like you said. They just go for it. They give things a crack, and not even like, bat an eye, let's just do it.
They just do it.
And so you go there, and then, bro, obviously it seems like it's rubbed off on, is it?
Nah, it definitely did. Yeah. So when I went over and I was doing mahi, which was like for a finance company, another nerdy job, was working for an insurance company here, They moved us over there. I'm doing quite well. Even that job that I had, people in there would just like elevate you because they just work like hard, very hard. You know, they want to chase. So then when I started the content, it was the same. There's other people in that space of talking to fighters or in having interviews that would, no shame, right? Just chase what they want to do, have a conversation, ask any question. And then I thought, man, why can't I do that, you know? So it's definitely helped me just shake that tall poppy syndrome. Because I think I hear tall poppy a lot in New Zealand, but the more I reflect on it, I think it's the internal tall poppy syndrome that's the worst. You know, you have that with your own dialogue, that if you try too hard, you might shame yourself out. I think that's the syndrome. That's the syndrome in New Zealand. I think that's scary because I know I've like worked on that and I still have some of that, but it's a lot less in Australia.
Bro, Loz, are you some sort of psychologist?
Third job, income, Instagram,
Are you some,
smartcookie.com.
Are you a psychologist? What is this?
Nah, you know what it is? The other thing that people don't know is I'm 40 next year, right? I'm 39. So I think as a older South Aucklander, Polynesian, been through life, if you're just reflecting a lot, you're going to learn a lot about yourself.
Right.
And then you start looking around, you're like, oh, there's other people who probably share the same stuff. So you'll be the same too.
Bro,
you have so many
love
conversations.
that. I love that, man.
I bet you're having conversations with people and you look at them and you go, oh, we're sharing.
Yeah.
You probably have that.
Bro, but I love how you put it, because you know we often get some people talk about tall poppy syndrome, and some of the guests have mentioned it as well. And we always think of the analogy of the crab in the bucket and they just drag people
I
down.
heard that.
Or they always share that. But you're the first one, the very first to say, you know what? Maybe the tall poppy syndrome is us. We haven't kind of dealt with our own stuff, and then we kind of because we kind of like a self-sabotage. Because it's too good to be true. You know, I don't want to stand out from everyone else because I'm doing some good stuff. Oh, what about the whānau? What about the people that are inga? I'm just kind of standing like a sore thumb, and then you start getting the hate. But really, maybe the onus is on us, man, bro.
Well, you guys must surely in your journey you must have felt some of that.
Oh,
because I'm assuming you didn't think
harder.
as well as you guys have done. You probably didn't think you're going to do this this quick, but you've done so well.
Man,
I'm sure. Have you had that on your journey, like a little bit of pulling yourself down or self-doubt?
Bro, I tell you what, man, Loz, you're 100% right, man. There are times like, oh, that's a bit too good to be true. But I'm a realist. I mean, we had Jordan last night. He's a realist. He said he's a realist, but I'm a realist. If we don't put in the mahi, and of course. But if I really believe when you put in the work and you build relationships and you establish relationships, I think you can. Yeah, I think we deserve to be here. We put in the work.
That's the part that they missed, though. That part you just did.
Yeah.
The second step to the tall poppy part, or pulling yourself down, is going, well. Like, I'm a huge David Goggins fan, and one thing he always reflects on is, like, have you got a catalogue of things where you've earned the right to be proud or confident? And I think that second step, if a lot of us did that here, it would do two things, right? It would do what you guys have done. You'd be like, no, I've earned this. I've done the mahi.
Yeah.
This is my treats. I'm going to be proud of it. But it also does the same. I think if, we have moments where we're like, nah, I'm the man. But if you just stopped and went, wait, have I actually done the work?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to be no. And then you can go, all right, like, I've got a bit lucky here, or this is happening, but I haven't done what I should be doing. So I'm just going to keep it moving and keep working,
Man, Loz, man, I'm so glad you're on because you're right, because obviously we can relate, because, bro, you're doing some good work as well, bro.
Thank you.
It really is really good, and I can see it because I see how you talk to these fighters, bro. Confident, and Loz is just being Loz. You're just being you. I can tell because you're having fun talking to these people, and you're right in terms of, and you kind of reflect if you're not doing the mahi, but at the same time you think, okay, we got here thus far, but maybe there's some things I need to work on just to improve.
Yeah,
I think that's key as well. Like, okay, and you can't bullshit your way.
No, that's the thing.
People find out. Sure enough, you think you can fake it to make it and all that, but it only lasts for a bit.
And you know what else I found? And man, we can relate here. I was saying it too, it's weird for me because no one ever asks me questions. Usually I'm just sitting there like, and it's very easy. I'm not saying his job's easy, but interviewing someone's actually a lot easier than you think if you're used to it, right? Like, look how comfortable you are. So when I'm sitting here, I'm like, but I do think that when I do talk to fighters, and I am myself, we spoke about this, I do a great job because I'm not trying to portray something.
Yeah.
And then they relax. You know, they're so, with fighters, especially most of the interviews come at fight week, which if you don't follow fighting, fight week consists of usually media, weight cutting. So you're drained, you're not eating, you're tired, you've been beat up for usually 8 to 10 weeks, you're nervous, you know, and then you've got Loz over here going, yeah, do you like Taro or something? And they're like, you know, so I think where you got to earn the respect of them is, you know, I have to, can I walk in their shoes and sort of understand it? Have I done my research to understand them? Am I actually a fan? And if I'm not, that's cool. I can just have a different conversation. Just keeping it real like you guys do, you know, just keep the conversation real. Sometimes those conversations will be not as entertaining because they just don't have it in them, or we don't have that rapport. And then some, like what I spoke about with Jai or Mia, or just people that I have rapport with, man, we could talk for hours, you know, and we usually do off camera too. So, yeah, it's fun.
But it is. And even you, man, bro, it's like I've known you in the hood.
I know, we've said the same.
I'm sure this is Whānau, we Whānau here.
Yeah.
And so, and Loz, because you go back to your interviewing, and you've interviewed you've rubbed shoulders with some big names to date. And I'm just assuming, but who's been the best guest that you've talked to and interviewed and had a nice cordial with?
Yeah, there's been a few. I think because of Jai's platform as a Polynesian athlete, a fighter, and his persona, I think that gets probably the most attention, mainly because of how well Jai is. And probably I've got a lot of compliments when I talk to Jai that he's very relaxed with me, which I appreciate if that's how it comes across, because I feel very relaxed talking to him, even though he could knock me out if he wanted to, like most of them. So I'd say probably Jai for platform and for like, he's a special breed of a person. You're not going to find a lot of people like Jai, just in life. He's tunnel focused. He's very raw. He doesn't care about bling. You know, he wants to be the best at what he does. So Jai's definitely up there. But some of the conversations I've had with like people from here have been the most fruitful for me. Like people know that I know Peach Boxing quite well.
Yeah.
And I have to give them a shout out because Isaac, Peach and Alina, when I was starting, they got me into a lot of doors and conversations for nothing. Like they didn't even know me. It was just me sending them a DM. And they let me come to so many big fight nights with Jerome and Dre and me. And honestly, that was just them just being kind to do that. Some of the conversations I've had with Isaac, Peach and Miyamoto and Jerome and all them, because it's so close to home, Tamika Makoto and, you know, the hood and stuff and the background, that probably touches the most heartstrings with me, because I can, you know, they've all had rough challenges growing up here, and seeing them achieve that and become world champions and then challenge for the best in the world all the way from their garage in West Auckland just gives me faith, you know, that they're going to motivate someone else to do that over here. So I'd say those conversations probably inspire me the most, at least.
Yeah. Nah, you're cool. That's cool. And props to Isaac and Peach Boxing. And we've had Jerome. And Jerome's, man, I tell you, man, Jerome's like, he's one of those guys who doesn't say much. Doesn't say much. Laws. Like, man, we had an interview trying to, it was like, mate.
He's hard to crack.
It's just, hey, man. And it's just, yeah, just 2 words. It's like, come on, Jerome. Come on, man. Brother, come on.
How you feel about the fight? Yeah, yep, good. Yep, great. But that's a great example, right? So, same when I first met Jerome, but now that we have rapport and we have off the cuff rapport, now when we talk, like you said, we just chat, conversation, chill. But yeah, he's a hard one. There's a lot of fighters.
I'll tell you, Jerome, probably one of the nicest guys. Man. I was like, are you sure you're a boxer?
No,
this guy's like
you're right.
Humble. And
he's probably one of the nicest higher level fighters I've ever spoken to, and that's no cap. Like genuine, nice dude, family man. Doesn't sound like he could, but he could fight anyone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he
So
absolutely killed
he
it, man.
genuinely is. And I'm probably think that's cap, but I was saying it too off camera. Some fighters, like, oh my God. Not gonna say any names, but some of you fighters.
Give me a hint too. Is it Kiwi? Is it Kiwi? Is it Kiwi? Or is it
There's a
Australian?
mixed bag, I'll say that. No, and when I'm not being disrespectful to them, but I think inside knowledge when you are around fighting, some people who fight are dickheads. Like fighters know that. Some of them are. And eventually what happens is their persona comes out and it starts burning them because they're actually dickheads, right? So if they start winning or losing, doesn't matter, they start pissing people off in the business. And they won't get fights, they won't get promoted because they're just dickheads. Yeah, they just are.
Jeez.
Yeah. Send me a DM if you want a name. No, but that's that was a sad thing for me, to be honest, because I'm such a fight fan. When I meet a fighter, I'm like, and I'm in awe of them courage and skill, right? But then when I meet them and they're a bit of a dick, I'm like, my balloons popped.
Yeah.
Air out of the top.
Because you're so excited, like,
I'm like,
cool.
yeah, talk to me.
Yeah,
are you family man? And then they're talking. I'm just like, ooh.
Bro, this what disappointing is. Like, disappointing. I thought this guy was the man. This guy's kicks.
Yeah, and sometimes too, their team are annoying as their F too.
Bro, I heard about one fight. His team. I don't know his entourage, but maybe and you know him. But I won't mention his name. But I heard about his entourage, and so they're they're abusive to other or to his opponents.
It's so bad.
I was like,
it's real bad. And like the thing if I be specific, boxing and other fighting things completely different. In the boxing world, it's all money. Like I know you hear that all the time, but it really is. Whoever's got the most money makes the decisions. So you'll go to an event, and this is probably the craziest thing, and I've been there with Peach or other people, and they're like main event, right, or co-main, massive fight. These people are going to make thousands of them fighting, and they're warming up in like a kitchen, or like a little room, or there's no food, it's just like no different to me warming up for my boxing alley fight. In some cases, I'm not saying all, but that's because in boxing, they'll just hold the money for the top. Like it's even at the level that they're having to do. So just being around that as a fan, even seeing some of that intricacies can burst your bubble a bit. But then I respect the fighters more. Yeah. Because people think fighters, it's all glitz and glam, right? Like they're on Rocky, or they're like, yeah. That's not, man. It's a very humbling sport. It's not like the Chiefs are in a stadium locker warming up and there's 50,000. It's not like that. It's a humbling sport, fighting.
And plus, you're saying it because you're by yourself in the ring.
Exactly.
You're by yourself in the ring. You have obviously team sports totally different. You got someone to back you up and so forth. But you're by yourself in the ring, and it's just mental.
Yep.
I heard we had Joseph Parker just said it was 80% training and then 80% mind and 20% was just training. Is that true?
Well, he's a great example for that because if you look at his boxing skill. Joe's probably going to kill me as in my DMs, but I would argue as a massive fan of Joe that his boxing skill hasn't actually changed or improved massively. I would say it's his mental, and obviously he's done a lot of athleticism, but his mental game is just whatever he's done to strengthen that. I'd say that's why he's doing so well right now because he's just so mentally confident even when he's on a back foot right now. I think before you used to see little doubts in his mind, right? As you do, but you just don't see that with him now. He's so confident, even when he's been knocked down 2 or 3 times. He's just so I would agree with Joe. It's so mental, the fight game.
Bro, you know what, Loz? You should be on one of those commentaries, man.
Oh my gosh!
Have you ever considered like going asking the I don't know. What's that? One of the channels or sports channels?
Sky or Fox Sports, yeah.
Have you ever thought of like I should be up? I should be.
I would love that. Yeah,
the boxing game.
I appreciate that. First of all, thank you. But I probably do myself a disservice because when I am talking fighting, I probably don't unpack it like I'm doing with you, right? So this is probably a good lesson for me that there's probably things I've left off the shelf. But there's been a few people who have said that, or even just in that. Actually, my last event I did was with the Zone for Jai's fight. Yeah. And even that was, bro, nerve-wracking. South Auckland boy, filling out the zone thing. Oh, yeah, media. They're like, what's your company name? I was like, Kukikilla. Bro, I'll send you the screenshot later. Yeah. What's your media franchise name? At Kukikilla.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, bro.
I was like, I don't need a trust or something. And then when I met the lady at the door, she's like, hey, we just have a chat, and you're just running us through, because it's the zone. It's the biggest. It's like the UFC of boxing. Yeah. And bro, I'm out there with my little phone and my Osmo. I'm walking around. I'm like, and they're like, you can go anywhere you want to film whatever you want and talk. And I'm just like, and I'm by myself too. I don't have a camera person.
What?
No one. I just roll to these events by myself. So if you ever see content from me, I'm literally either holding my Osmo or my phone and probably like running around or like yelling at someone. So working with the zone, I got a few comments like, man, you should be doing like the commentary and like side chats and stuff for people like this. And I guess that's just, again, same thing. Probably about a tall poppy where I thought, I'm not capable of that. But now that it's coming up, yeah, I would love to do that if it.
Bro, I reckon you suit it, man. You got the personality to do it, man.
Thank you.
There's something refreshing in the boxing game. There's two guys who were doing obviously Joy's fight just passed.
Yep.
I don't know who that guy was, but is that guy? Is that white guy? Is he a boxer? Or
No.
Man.
Just to say on that, I always get DMs from people, especially in Australia or the poly community, like, Docs, kick that fella off the mic and get on there, bro. Tell him how it really is. This fella's talking all shit. Because they're not fighters. I'm cautious when I say I have fought. Like, I've had like 10 boxing fights. I'm training Muay Thai because I love it and it's new. But I'm not a fighter now, right? I've fought. But it does give me a different camaraderie with the fighters, that I'm not watching a fight talking like a league person, which they have. That's like, you've seen Sean Johnson's new show, right? Bro, amazing, right?
Bro, Sean Johnson's
imagine if he just halfway through started talking about boxing. That's what they're doing, bro, when they're on there. They're league people.
So when he's throwing a jab, I think he knocked it on.
I would have goose stepped there, but whatever. Like, that's what Shawnee's doing is inspirational. Bro, that's on target, real life chats with someone who's earned everyone's, right? So yeah, man, if I keep working at something like that fruition, I would love to do it. You know what's funny though? You're going to stop me rambling soon.
That's good.
I actually had a conversation, I'll tell you off camera, with like quite a big brand leading up to Jai's fight with their content team. Because I one thing I'm good at is I'm a salesperson too in my jobs, so I don't mind people saying no. I think that's a huge strength if you're trying to make content. So I'll be in everyone's DMs, bro. We're like, hey, Anthony Joshua, next time you're in Rewa. Even ask Joe. One time I'm going to talk to Joe. Me and Joe have missed that many conversations because I just don't stop spamming him. He messaged me the other day. But this brand wanted to work with me but didn't really want to, which I understand because I'm not trying to be PC right on my content. I'm very just open. So their content team called me up, one of them, and actually gave me really good advice where they said, if you want to do it formally, work with us, you probably have to jump through all these hoops and you might have to filter your content, which I'm assuming you don't want to do. No, I want to be myself. And then they said, cool, here's some off the book advice. Just make the content, say sorry later. And that's pretty much what I've started doing. Yeah, so if you see me trying to collab with people, it's just because I'm trying to get, confident in trying to get those bigger positions. But it's hard to do as a South Aucklander. You're fighting with yourself and your brain. So
man, but you bring up a good point, Tom Laws. It's like an everyday battle sometimes. You take 5 steps forward, then all of a sudden those bad days you take another 10 steps backwards. Like, oh man. And I heard it all the time, and you've heard this saying, imposter syndrome. I don't know. Look, bro, I've never heard of that until recently. So where did this come from?
Hot word now, eh?
Yeah, imposter syndrome. Where did this come from?
Yeah.
And so I know we're always battling our own selves in terms of our minds and so forth. But, bro, what you're doing, I think what you're showcasing is, like you said, if they say no, it's a no. And be okay with the no, eh? It's just a no. But what do we do? What do we do when we get the no?
You get all emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, we get to know. What do we
If someone says no in South Auckland
Yeah.
or Polynesian, we're
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy hates me.
Oh.
Or he wants to curse my family.
Or what's the famous one now? Oh, he's racist.
Yeah. Oh, my wife's probably watching that going, you've said that. I've definitely said that. Which is right. That's a self-defense thing, right?
Yeah.
Must be them, not me.
Yeah.
But if you just treat it like third person, you know, you're trying something, they say no, you're in the same position,
Yeah.
you haven't gone backwards.
Exactly.
The door's always going to be closed, you know. If you don't try and open it, it just stays shut. And if you don't try, you never know. So, but that's all learning, right?
Yeah.
We've got to learn.
I know. And so, what is your mindset when they do say that? Obviously, you're like, okay, it's just a part of. If they say no, it's a no. It's all good. But this is what sometimes I tend to do. They say no, like, well, you know what? You're gonna come back.
He'll be back. And when you come back, I'm going to be busy. Nah.
You're gonna get that.
Yeah.
No, it's a no.
Who's the song?
Who's this Sonny?
Sonny, what? No, you're right. There's a moment where I'm like, ugh, who cares, right? Like,
Yeah.
And then I always think when it does come up, because this has happened, I've shot my shot before, then I meet them in person, and they're like, man, I love your stuff, let's chat. Shoot me a message. And then I'm like, hey, I've shot you many messages. And what's funny is that wins them over so much because they're like so humbled and embarrassed that like, oh, I don't mind shit. And they're just like, oh my God, it's happened so many times. So yeah, I think, and if you're creating content or trying to, just, man, shoot for the stars and keep, like, you guys are such a good inspiration on that for us.
Hey, man, tell you what, Lars, we're in it together, man, because I think we could have started, I don't know if we started at the same time, Lars. Seems like we could have, everyone was jumping on at the same time. And so, it's cool. I think the more of us out there doing this in the social media realm, and you look at it now, there's a lot of podcasts popping here everywhere.
Oh, don't get me started.
And so,
I have a rant.
Paul, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Since I brought that up, Lars.
Nah, because okay, I'll give you guys are a great example, right? I'm just going to use it as a benchmark. Like the word podcast, I think, and what you guys do, that's the setting and a conversation similar to like what radio tries to be, but you guys are doing that in long form. Cool. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. But then there's people who say, I'm a podcast, but they're not having a conversation. There's no goal in the conversation. There's no like outreach. Even how you guys will grab a moment, it's a learning moment, you share that, right? These other people will grab things that were going to get a like or a hit or get them money or that talks about a person or talks badly about a person, they put that up. That, for me, that irks me because it sort of diminishes what a podcast is, you know, in my mind. Even myself, I changed my name because I'm like, I'm not doing a podcast. I'm just doing short form conversations. Real podcasts like what you guys do, there's a different feeling to it. You know, you can sit down through the whole thing and have a good listen to what they're doing. But these days, man, you put two fellas that talking about green grass growing or something, they're like, oh yeah, green grass growing product, podcast NZ. Like it's just everything for that. So I know there's a lot popping up, but I just, my wish is that the quality is upheld.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If there was 20 more mandates, lovely. Or 20 more like Sean Johnson shows, awesome. If there's 20 stare at the paint, talk about that for 10 minutes, then I'm like, miss me with that.
Man, mad respect, bro. No, I appreciate that, man. Loz, this is cool, man. And so going back to Kukikilla, obviously Kukikilla, and I'm not too sure because sometimes people they come up with this vision and okay, I'm going to do this, and it's got in hindsight, and you think okay, maybe I'm not looking towards too far from into the future. What's the goal? What's the ultimate goal for Kukikilla and for yourself, Loz?
Yeah, I thought about this a lot recently. The rebrand, I guess, the Kukikilla was just the goal, and still is just to share more of like myself as a fight fan, Polynesian Kiwi person who loves conversations. So if I can do more of that and build a community, I started referencing more to like whoever follows the page that we've got a little community, because where I've seen that done well, I think if I can build a bit of a safe space for like fight fans, Polynesians, Kiwis, Australians, whoever, who are this weird bunch of people, because you'll find some fight fans are super into it, right? Like really. So if I can build a safe space where everyone can just share their feelings and communicate, have a good time, that's a short-term goal, I guess. Just keep growing that, share my content. And then long-term, I think if I can get to a place where, in all honesty, if I can start giving back to like our people, and if I can get back home and give back to South Auckland, I don't know how that looks, but that's what I'd want to do.
It's cool.
Yeah,
man.
somehow. I know there's a way I can do it. I just haven't figured out how yet. But if I could snap my fingers, it would be having conversations, being myself, but then having positive impact on, our people somehow.
Bro, man, you know what's so interesting? Obviously, when people come in, some of the guests that come in, they say, "Oh, I want to come back and give back to our people, and just kind of help our people." Bro, it seems like you're already doing it. You are, bro. And I think people think you need to impact people in a larger scale. Sometimes they lost, but it's like, listen, you just mentioned that you were you at the gym?
Yeah,
and then someone's like, "Hey, Kukikilla."
Yeah. Well, I was sharing with too that because I don't get to come home as much, and hopefully we'll be back home soon. When I do come, I'm always in the local gyms, right, like training or hitting the bag. And then the bro, Dylan, I remember his name, a tatted up fella. I'm walking out, and everyone knows in South Auckland, no one talks to each other because everyone's so staunch, bro. So I'm walking like with my South Auckland face, and he comes over, "Oh, cheer, bro," and I'm thinking, it's quite intimidating, dude. And he goes, "Oh, I follow your Kukikilla page." And he actually had a cookie, and then we had a chat, and I was saying it too. That's quite humbling for me. No, I wasn't not expecting that, but if I know there's people out there that enjoy the content and feel happy, then it's good motivation to just keep doing that.
Yeah, it is. I enjoy it, bro. I enjoy seeing you talking to the people, and and you're right. You mentioned Jai. That's the first time I've seen Jai look relaxed. If I look at it now, Loz, because Jai is very intense.
Yep.
Those killer eyes, man. But I saw that he was like you were like one of his close buddies. I was like, man, this guy doesn't seem too tense when he's talking to you. And maybe it's just who you are, Loz, and you know how to connect with the people and so forth, bro. In terms of obviously the ultimate goal, but also legacy. I always like to ask this. I'll guess this legacy. What's Loz? Who does Loz want to be remembered for when your time is through? What does Loz? What do you want to be people to see, or even your father, your kids? And they say, when they remember Loz or Lawrence.
That's a good question. I'm going to show my nerdy side a tiny bit here. Something that I've been reading for the last few years, and I think it's really helped me like grow as a man, is Stoicism, which is a type of philosophy. And the reason I enjoy it is because, again, it's all internal. It's on me. Like, it's not something you share with people. And a big part of Stoicism is just doing the right thing and just trying to be a good man. Not a great man, like not amazing at anything, but just being a good man, a good person, doing the right thing all the time. I'm definitely not there yet, but if I could leave a legacy for anyone, it would be that. Be a good man, do the right thing, and at least try to do good by everyone. That would be the goal, I think.
Bro, man, mean. And bro, you mentioned you're coming back to Otara, New Zealand. And anytime soon, it was just kind of like.
No, I think the plan is in the next 1 to 2 years at least to get back here. Yeah, we got a kid now. I need to have him around family, Yeah, I don't want him to be Australian.
Was he born there?
Yeah, we don't talk about it. Man. He's born in Queensland.
Born in Queensland?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Bro, bring it back home. Bring it back to the...
And to be honest, every time he's here, he's been here twice, he's so happy. Like, in a weird way. Like, sleeps, eats, just spiritually. Like, you could tell he's happy. It's crazy, man. Spooky stuff.
Must see the whānau, the family,
so.
The cousins and all that.
Yeah.
Bro.
He likes the sound of the police helicopter.
It's music to our ears, man.
100%. But yeah, that's the goal. Get home soon.
Oh, man, that's cool, man. That's cool. And your wife, because Well, because what does your wife do?
She's a genius. Nah, she's project manager at a finance company. She's so good. She's actually, you know when you get lucky, you find that wife that like just completely fixes all your shit parts. That's me. That's honestly why I think I'm so happy. I'm not a good planner. She's a good planner. I procrastinate because I'm Cook Island. She doesn't procrastinate. Like she's calm. I'm like hypo. We're good balance.
Your wife's not related to my wife.
Hey, every great man has a greater wife. That's what they say. But yeah, she works over there, so she wants to come home too. So, but I do have to shout her out because, like right now, my content's sort of getting busy, which is unexpected. A lot of good things, but she's been so amazing, like supporting us, doing that. She's got baby at home all the time. We don't have whānau in the Sunshine Coast, so. She's been amazing. Very lucky.
Yeah, man, you're blessed, bro. You're blessed.
I am
bro.
blessed.
You're blessed,
No, I am.
man.
I am.
You're both blessed, man.
Yeah, she's more blessed.
Yeah. Hey, you're blessed, man.
Cut that out, Gideon. Cut that part out.
Oh man, Lars, you're a hard case, man, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Just some questions, left field questions.
Yeah, any
out
man.
of the blue. Because our young man here, you mentioned Gideon. Gideon's a movie buff. Got a good eye for movies, all these angles and so forth. Hence why we got this guy. What is your favorite movie, Loz? Or movies? Which? Well, two movies.
Ooh, let's do two. Gideon's gonna look at me and judge me now. I'm gonna be cliche, but it's more because I'm scrambling. Because I'm a nerd. Any of the Marvel DC movies I like, but some of the new Marvel ones I'm like. So I probably have to say there's the DC version one of the Justice League, but there's the other version. Gideon knows what I'm talking about.
The Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut. If you're a nerd and you don't like the Snyder Cut, I don't know what you're doing. It's a particular cut of the Justice League. Gideon knows. You agree?
Yeah.
And cinematically, I'm not a Gideon, but it was beautiful. So much so that my wife was watching it, who usually scrolls on her phone on my when I put. So that Snyder Cut of the Justice League, because I'm such a nerd, I was like, whoa, it was different.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you DC or Marvel?
This is a question, right? Because okay, I'm Marvel because I like a few of their characters, but I actually think DC's better. No, if you read the comics, don't come at me, everyone. DC storylines absolutely smoke Marvels. They do.
Those storywriters, man, the storyboards, man.
I'll tell you why, Teals. Because people actually die in DC. Bro, in Marvel, everyone comes back to life, bro. Captain America is dead. Next issue, Captain America back. You're like, bro, no one dies in Marvel. In DC, they're like, nah, he's dead. Get him out.
Oh, bro.
But yeah, DC.
Second favorite movie.
Second favorite movie. Oh, I have to go Ghetto. Because although I'm not a black American, when you grow up in South Auckland, basically you're black American of New Zealand. When I saw Training Day, I was like, I want one of those cars. What is it? And Denzel's
the hydraulics.
Yeah, it's like my N-word and all that stuff. That movie was so raw for me. I loved it. But close with that is Friday. But Friday because I grew up on Friday. Rewind the tape, go again. Rewind the tape, go again. My sister and me, we could say every word of that whole movie.
Smoky,
Every single word from the start, man. Friday, man.
Friday
OG.
and Training Day.
Yeah.
And so, but since you know that Denzel Washington, bro, you must know that since you watched that, it's one of your favorite movies. What's do that that Denzel Washington?
No. See, Gideon, he knows he's going to walk me into something here and I can't do it. No, but I do like Denzel. Although seeing him now, when you see those people you really love, they start getting old.
Yeah, I know.
The teeth falling out like that.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, I'm like, bro, you're not Equalize anymore.
Yeah.
You're like,
you're sad, bro.
He's more like immobilizing now. Stop making these movies, bro. No, because you're ruining it. He's going to be like this, bro, on the 8th one. He's going to be on his watch, bro.
Lost. It's going to be 10 hours.
He's going to be like this, bro. He's going to be setting his watch and it'll be like 20:30, bro. And everyone's like, hey,
Oh, man.
this guy doing.
Oh, Lars, man, you're too funny, bro. Too sad, Denzel.
Yeah. That was a setup he wanted to do today. My man.
My man. Bro. Oh, also music. Music. What's your favorite old school jam?
So I actually had this conversation, so I'm glad you asked. If I go album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill has to be my number one album. If you're in South Auckland in that day and age, that album was on everywhere, like all the time. If you're sad, you put on X Factor or something. You know, if you're like listening to that thing because your mum's drinking in the garage or whatever. That album is like big for me. I love that album. Yeah, yeah. So does my wife. That's a OG album.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. What's the? You say X Factor? Is that one of your?
Yeah, yeah. I actually love like sad music.
Bro.
Yeah, it's good, man. Like I think it just centers you. Like I really hate running. Like if you see me running, you'll hear me, bro. That's how bad I'm heavy. But I'll play slow music, you know, because I'm like, I'm not. What am I, running fast? No. Just listen to slow music. I love slow music. Yeah.
Bro, you're the band, bro. Old school. And another old school track or song that you're like, man, this is the jam. This is the
maybe
jam.
not track, but the best for me, Bone Thugs was like everything for me. I still listen to every day now. Bone Thugs at home, you could grab any song you want.
Thuggish,
like
Ruggish,
Thuggish, First of the Month. Like all of that stuff, man. That's all stuff we grew up on, you know.
Bro, that's us, man.
Yeah, and went back when you had to record off my FM, you had to go play record.
Yeah, play record.
Put the paper sellotape.
Yeah.
Play record. And then Dad comes in. Who recorded over my Roy Mata song? You're like, oh. Bro, that's everything I grew up on.
Oh man, I love Bone Thugs, but yeah, man, especially when Crossroads came out.
Oh, bro, that was a sad time. Oh, everyone was just crying for no reason.
Everyone was growing their efforts in the ears. Oh man, times. But you're too good. You're too good, Loz. Loz, I'll tell you one more thing I want to ask you, bro, because obviously mandate, and I'm so glad we got you on, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Hard out.
This has been just a fun, even if we weren't recording, just talking to you and having these questions and having to reflect has been so fun for me. So thank you.
No, it is. It's just refreshing. It's like I said before. It's like, bro, this is the cuz. The cuz is in the room, and we're just having a chat and having a cordial with the cuz, bro. Mandate. And what does mandate mean? Obviously, mandate means commission, to be authorized to do something, or mandatory. What is your mandate, and what does it mean?
I remember because when you started, that was the cool conversation point, right? And how it going. I remember thinking about it, but it's probably changed a lot now. But I'd say for me personally, my mandate would be. I actually said this to my best friend the other day. We caught up at Denny's in Monaco, which took an hour, by the way. Jeez, Denny's. Sorry, sidetracked. I said to him, I'd say my mandate is to take on the responsibility to be the strong bearer of things, you know, in my circles. That's the mandate I want to take on for myself, and I think I do okay at it, but I definitely want to do more of that. You know, take on people's conversations, discussions, check in with them, see how I can uplift my friends and my family, and just be that like solid rock for people that I care about.
Man, too much, bro. One more thing, because you mentioned stoic, and I know these days people talk about vulnerability, and it's cool. The brothers can cry and share their struggles, express their feelings. Do you think we're going a little bit too far on the vulnerability side, Loz? That we still need to, at the end of the day, men still need to be men. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just that factor. I think what's happened is there's been probably a needed pivot to like promote vulnerability in men, so that we feel comfortable being vulnerable. But that's really just opening the doors for people to like talk about stuff and vent and, you know, maybe express vulnerability. But there's no. What actually fixes that is you got to shore up everything we've spoken about. You know, build your confidence, be okay being alone, go and fail on your own, not on social media or not in front of your friends, and then fix yourself, build back up. I think there's a need for that space for men to really like go fail, overcome it, come back strong, be strong for themselves, and then that'll spill over into others. I know that's helped me a lot with mental stuff and everything. So yeah, I would love to see more of that. I think that needs to be talked about a lot more. Doesn't have to be toxic. That gets thrown around a lot. Yeah. Toxic, like masculinity and all that. But I think that's just an easy way to stop men being proud of being men by saying that word, like it. And who cares if someone does think it's toxic? If it's healing you and your men in your life, that's all that matters. If you're not hurting anyone, you're doing right by yourself, and it takes you to go and fight or lift things or go hunting or learn a haka or have a conversation or get mad in a safe space. Just do that, but just make sure it lifts you up and makes you a stronger man, I think. Loz. And avoid the Codys. Hey, jeez.
Loz, man, you might have to put some letters in front of your name, Dr. Loz.
Smart cookie coming soon.
Sharing some nuggets.
Yeah, thank
bro,
you.
I love that. Yeah, there's a fine line of. I think that's what it is. Loz. There's a fine line of being vulnerable and crying and expressing our feelings. But then what's after that? You're right. I like how you said you just open it up. You open it up to have the corridor, tell them, "Oh, cool." And then what's after that is now how do we fix? Yeah. How do we fix the problem? What do we do after that? The practical stuff to be better men.
Yep.
I think there's a fine line. There should be a balance of because at the end of the day, we can cry what we want. But we need to get up and still face the...
You still need to earn for your family,
exactly.
Protect your family, protect yourself. You can't... Just being vulnerable isn't going to... It's Men's Mental Health Month this month. And I see a lot of people talking about, chicken in your mates and talk about your problems. No one's going to talk about their problems unless you give them tools to be strong and cope with themselves.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
And plus, we could be talking about our problems all day.
Exactly.
And there's no practical vices to help us.
I read this phrase once, and it was saying, like talking about the knife in your back while the knife's still in your back is ridiculous, You got to get the knife out, heal it up, cool, get stronger, then you can talk about it. You don't have to just sit there and complain about the thing and not do anything about it. It's ridiculous, but yeah, we'll get there though.
Bro, man, what a cool telenom, bro. Honestly, man, what a cool corridor.
I enjoyed
bro,
it, bro.
I really appreciate it, bro. And just, we had another one last night, and he was just as great as well. But, bro, I tell you what, bro, maybe there's something new.
The daytime.
The daytime, maybe something.
Maybe the sun makes us smarter.
I don't know, bro. You already know you're a smart cookie, man. You're a smart cookie already, man. You do.
I think it's, to be honest, bro, I think it's like, because we both we have a chemistry with our background. We used to have conversations with people, so I think you bring out good stuff out of me too because I'm comfortable with you. So,
yeah, likewise, man. I've just had a blast. These last two corridors, just been awesome, bro. And like I said, Loz, man, props. All the best with your endeavors. All the best with your, bro. I tell you what, bro. Whatever you need, you know where we are, bro. You hit us up, Loz.
Nah, thank you.
When you come back home and whatever it is, man, just come and pay us a visit. The seat's always there for co-hosts, so you never know, man.
Smart cookie coming soon. So we'll start a cookie brand when I come back. I appreciate it. And same for you guys, man. Like, there's so many people I think you'd house a good conversation with. So if I ever comes there, I'll swing them to you guys.
Awesome, bro. But we always give our guest a gift. I always give them do a sketch or a caricature or a cartoon of how I envision them to be. Bro, man, when you go home, this is on behalf of the Mandate team. To the man, to the Kukikilla.
Hey.
Loz, this is for you, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Oh, look at this. That is sick.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, bro.
How much do these sell for? Thank you so much, brother. That's amazing.
Awesome, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it.
This is my first gift that anyone's ever given me.
Oh, bro.
Like with the content stuff, for sure, honestly. Thank you.
You, man, just keep doing your thing. I enjoy it, man. And so, like I said, Loz, man, you just pay us a visit. We'd be cool for having part 2 and have another cordial, but, bro, appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother.
A lot of nuggets, man. A lot of nuggets,
appreciate it.
But Loz, we always give our guests the last words. So anything to encourage our men, our viewers, our listeners, bro, all yours, Loz.
Oh, man. First off, I'd say, if you enjoy conversations like this, it's important to support not just mandate, but people that you find the content is awesome. That's something that I would say and encourage. Make sure you're following these guys, reshare, comment, all that stuff helps keep all these good conversations. And then I think maybe just as a whole, specifically too, to people who enjoy these conversations, something that's helped me is just like learning the power of reflecting on things like immediately. You're never going to be perfect, but the better you can get at reflecting on things that you're happy with or not happy with, it really empowers us. And I think as Polynesians, it's not a normal thing for us. We usually rely on our like whānau or group of people to give us feedback, and they'll provide a lot sometimes. But it's really good to get used to your own feedback and receive that and improve off that. It's a healthy relationship with yourself. And if anyone out there's like heard stuff that they like from myself, obviously from Tu, man, my slide in the DMs. There's no admin people. It's just me, probably reading your message. So if you need a chat, want to talk about fighting or any advice, just message me anytime.
Awesome. Please don't forget to subscribe. Once again, Loz, aka Kukikilla.